live in, and there were all sorts of people in it. Mother dear, I'm sure as anybody could be. He has been a perfect gentleman. You didn't think he looked like one of those people that go around misunderstanding girls, did you, mother?" The mother remembered the gentle, manly way in which the young man had lifted her and carried her to and from the car, and her heart warmed to him. Yet her fears lingered as she watched her sweet eyed girl. " No," she answered slowly, " but then you can't always judge. He certainly was a gentleman, and he was very nice looking." Then she looked sharply at Shirley. " You won't go to getting any notions in your head, dear child." Her eyes were wistful and sad as she searched the sweet, weary face of the girl. " You know rich young men follow whims sometimes for a few days. They don't mean anything. I wouldn't want your heart broken. I wish he was an old man with white hair." " Oh, mother dear !" laughed Shirley with heart free ring to her voice. " Did you think you had a young fool for a daughter? He was only being nice because he is a perfect gentleman. But I know he is not in the same universe as I am, so far as anything more than pleasant kindliness is concerned. We shall probably never see him again now that we are settled. But don't you think I ought to go and telephone thanks to his little sister? They will be home by this time, and it seems as if we ought to make some acknowledgment of her great kindness." " By all means, dear, but how can you? Is there a pay station near here? I thought you said this was out in the country." " Why, we have a telephone of our own, mother dear. Just think of the luxury of it, us with a telephone! Mr. Graham had it put into the barn when he was making some repairs so he could communicate with his workmen, and he said if we would like it we might keep it. It is one of those pay as you go phones with a place to drop nickels and dimes in, so we are perfectly independent. Mr. Graham thought it would be a comfort to you when George or I had to stay late in town." " How thoughtful of him ! He must be a wonderful rich man. By all means telephone at once, and tell the little girl to say to her brother from me that I shall esteem it a privilege to thank him personally for all that he has done for my children, some time when he is out this way. Think! A real rose by my bed!" She reached out a frail hand and touched the exquisite petals lovingly. " It's wonderful!" So Shirley went into the living room to telephone, while all the children stood about to watch and comment and tell her what to say. Doris sat on a little cushion at her feet in awe, and listened, asking Carol with large eyes: "Is Shirley talking to God? Why doesn't she shut her eyes?" For Shirley's conversation over the telephone sounded to the little sister much like a prayer of thanksgiving, only she was not accustomed to hearing that joyous laughter in the voice when people prayed. Then Doris was put to bed in her own little crib, and the light in mother's room was switched off amid Doris's flood of questions. "What makes it light? Why did it go away? Will it turn again?" At last she was asleep, and the other children tiptoed excitedly about, preparing for bed, going up and down stairs softly, whispering back and forth for this or that they could not find, till quiet settled down upon the tired, happy household, and the bullfrogs in the distant creek droned out the nightly chorus. Chapter 13.